Hey y'all, I'm Jay Allen, and you're streaming on Gaining Fast on Memphis with Julian and Aaron Schreiber.
Between the blank stares.
Welcome to the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Schreiber, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. Each week, Aaron connects melodies and memories with fans and artists from all genres of life. When all else in life is gone, only music will be left to leave the legacy of life's adventures. Please welcome your host for the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast, Aaron Schreiber.
What is going on tonight, guys? We are very excited. We are going to test the audio, make sure everything sounds good before we kick everything off and bring on our guest. If you are in the chat, let us know where you're listening from tonight. Give us a thumbs up if it sounds good. I'm going to wait for my co-host over here to give me the thumbs up as well, and then we'll get rolling. So how are you guys all doing on this beautiful night tonight? Sound good?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Be good. All right.
Let's go.
Here we go. Hello and welcome everyone to season 6 of the Gaining Fast on Memphis podcast, a place where we connect memories to melodies. I'm your host, Aaron Schreiber.
And I'm your co-host, Jillian Shriver.
Our mission tonight is to provide a platform for motivated singer-songwriters, passionate fans, or someone who's making a difference in and around the music community. We hope everyone leaves inspired with a positive outlook and begins connecting their own memories to melodies. Tonight, we are presented by our good friends at Arlo Revolution, cinematic wedding films, music videos, and promos. Find them at arlorevolution.com. One tree planted. For every 1,000 downloads of the show, we plant a tree with one tree planted. Download the show on your favorite podcast app today. And pod decks. Pod decks are the hottest tool to get your next great interview, unique interview questions in the palm of your hand. Our two on-screen sponsors tonight is Art on a Higher Wire by Joel, original and custom artwork, inspired by your life moments, treasured photos, and memories. And Shed Services. At Shed Services, we offer a full range of maintenance services depending on your needs. Find them at shedservices.com. If you are looking for ways to support or sponsor Gaining Fast on Memphis, then please head over to our Patreon page. Tiers start at just $1. If Patreon is something you can't do at this time, the next best way to support the show is to like, share, review, and subscribe anywhere you can find us. Remember, you could join us live every Monday night. Tonight's a little different because we have a little special guest tonight. But every Monday night, 7 p.m., you can interact live on Facebook and YouTube with your favorite artists, your favorite guests, ask questions, join in on live chat, a lot of fun stuff. And then remember to visit gainingfastonmemphis.com for concert reviews, photos, playlists, links, tons more. But we're going to put all that to the side because we have a living legend coming on tonight, and we are very excited to have him. We're going to welcome on Darrell Worley for episode 138. Darrell needs no introduction. Since 1999, this West Tennessee native has been one of the hardest working singer-songwriters in all of music. Tonight, we are honored to discuss melodies and memories that make up his journey. We're going to go ahead and bring Darrell on. How you doing, buddy? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
No. Can you hear us?
No. Can't hear us?
I don't think so.
Let me hit refresh real quick,
Hold
guys.
on 1 second.
Can you hear us now, buddy? Nothing? Is he turned up?
Yeah.
Hang on, guys. Let's see what's going on. We've been having a lot of sound issues. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear us, Darrell, or no?
Can you see us? Yep.
Nothing?
Can you hear us, Darrell? I don't even think he can.
I can't even hear his. Hello? Can you hear us now?
Oh, my goodness.
Nothing, huh? Let's see. We're trying to get you back on, buddy. Let's see what's going on. Can you hear me on the live feed? So you can't hear me on the live feed, okay? You can't hear us at all, can you? If you can hear us, log out and log back in. Maybe that'll work. All right, guys, we're going to try to get him back on and see. We'll see what happened. We were sorry that we were running late. We've been having audio issues the last two shows, but tonight I know Darrell went into town to try to get better service, and they were out of internet at their town. So we're going to see if he logs back in. You can hear me fine, though, right?
I hear you, yeah.
Okay. We'll wait until he could log back in. I hope you guys are all doing good tonight. So It should just be a couple more minutes, and we'll have them. Let me send a message real quick. Okay, here we go.
Nope, I can hear him.
All right.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right,
okay,
here we
there
go. Welcome on, buddy. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. We tried bringing you on, and I don't know. You hear us fine now, though, right?
Oh yeah, clear, loud and clear.
All right. Well, welcome on, buddy. We are very excited to have you tonight. We were talking to you not too long ago. We lived outside of Savannah there. We were down in Corinth, Mississippi for a while, man. We loved the area. And one of the things about that area was just how rich it was with Darrell Worley music. All around there, man.
Such a proud community.
It is. And they all love their son and in that area. But Darrell, I want to take it way back. I like to start this show off every week the same way and get your first musical memory, man. Well, maybe what was playing around the house, what you were listening to when you were younger, and also maybe the first concert you went to and your first concert experience.
My earliest memories of music are just like playing with my grandpa and my brothers, and my mom's dad was a whole lot of the reason why we were so interested in music, but it was on the other side of the family too. And I remember my dad was a pastor and my mom was the youth leader, and some of my earliest memories are playing, or I should say singing. I had really not picked the guitar up by then. I was really young, but I used to sing, and my brother would play guitar and I would sing in church we'd do it for Dad, on different occasions. And it's funny you'd say that about the first concert. The first real concert, we had a guy around local at Pickwick named Buddy Roberts. He'd made a few records, and they would do a sort of like a telethon thing every year. And I remember as a kid, Mom and Dad took us and you just sit in lawn chairs, and they had a big, tall semi-truck trailer that they'd set the band up on. And my aunt sang with them, but they had a good band, and we went to see them. And it sort of lit a fire in me that I guess in a way I didn't know it was burning until I'd gotten close to the end of college and all that stuff. And I'd been piddling with songwriting and other things. And I guess you could say too that my first like real concert experience was probably Vern Gosdin. But anyway, that's about the best answers I've got for those questions.
I love that, man. We're definitely a big fan of that. But I love how you talked about that, about playing on the back of a pickup truck and everything, or a flatbed. Because watching that, I mean, that's probably where you got a little bit of the idea for the river runs down the road, huh?
Well, I mean, we had so many different experiences over the years. I'm no spring chicken, obviously, but I never dreamed how the river run would, when we did it at the park there, and it was on land. I just remember we struggled. We would have big names, and we'd spend a lot of money on talent, and we'd have we'd have huge turnouts, big crowds. But we struggled to, break even or make money on those shows. And we were making money on everything else that we did. So I just kind of had some ideas of trying different things. And when we took it out on the water is when it really started. We just make crazy money out there for the foundation. We would take up anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000 or $40,000 in cash money, just in buckets and jars. We had donation boats out there, and it was the only one I know of like it, where no part of it was connected to the shoreline. I mean, it was all floating on the water, and it was we called it Water World, and it was crazy out there. And it was a logistical nightmare, but it was really, really doing big things for the foundation.
I love that,
That's
man.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
I love
so
that.
cool.
We loved going to those river runs back in the day, man. We had a blast out there. So you have a chemistry degree from Northern Alabama University. You wrote for Fame and Muscle Shoals, and your first cut was in 1994. Well, what kind of got you into songwriting a lot, man? What really made you put those pen to paper and put that? You just remember the first song you ever wrote?
Well, I mean, I remember bits and pieces of different stuff, but the crazy thing was, like, when I was in high school, they would come to me like on Spirit Day, let's say, and say, write us a little jingle that we can all. And I started to realize, because everybody, and I made them pay me, I'd say, yeah, well, if you want it bad enough, what's it worth? And
Good for you.
but then I realized that I had kind of control of who won the Spirit Stick, because everybody wanted the jingles. I could say, okay, I'm going to write the good one for the juniors today.
Yeah.
But it was just a weird thing, because I could blend the rhythm and the rhyme and stuff. And my mom always said, she said, you've got a knack for that, Darrell. So I started piddling with it in the latter part of high school, and college I wrote songs all throughout college. But I found myself in Louisiana after college, working in the chemical industry. And that time down there alone was very, very, I mean, it was valuable, I guess, in that I was very lonely and out of place, but good people there. And I had great friends, and I just spent a ton of time by myself writing songs. And that's when it all kind of started to gel. And I thought, man, I think I could do this. And, my dad was certain I was going to go to med school, which that was sort of the plan. But I took a year off because I was just burned out whenever I got through with college. And that year, I started pitching some songs, and things started happening pretty quickly. And I thought, I'm not going back to school. There's no way I'm going back to school.
Now, do you find it easier to write by yourself, or do you have it easier to have co-writers with you?
Well, man, it's changed over the years. When I first came to Muscle Shoals and started playing songs for people, and then eventually wound up in Nashville, all the publishers that sign you on as a staff writer, they want to get you with other people, because I mean, the bottom line is, two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
But also you learn so much by writing with seasoned writers, and also with writers who have been doing it like same length of time that you have, because you just bounce things off of each other. And plus, if you're like me and you're kind of OCD about things, I will nitpick a song to death if I'm doing it by myself. And you got somebody in the room with you that says, hey, that's good enough, let's keep rolling, and we'll see what we've got at the end of the day. But I honestly, over all those years of co-writing, I really missed the time where I just sat down. It's so weird. It's like I was just here. It was raining and yesterday, and we hadn't seen that in so long. It was like some kind of a prehistoric event. I didn't know what was happening.
Right.
And I was sitting in the garage on a 5-gallon bucket watching it rain, and I just got my guitar out, and I just thought, well, how pleasant it is, to just let ideas flow and not. Sometimes it's good not to have to talk to someone else and bounce it off of someone else, because I'll usually wind up with 8 or 10 really great ideas that I can go then and pitch to other writers and say, hey, let's finish this thing. And that's always a good thing. So yeah, I'm a fan of both now. I don't prefer one over the other. I think it's very important as a songwriter to be able to do it alone. And I learned that before I learned how to co-write. So, having said that, I'm game to write with myself, one person or 3 or 4 more. I don't care. Bring it on.
Well, a couple of your albums, a couple of the songs that stand out to me that you wrote over the years. One, I got to bring up the Have You Forgotten album from 2003. You have a song on that album that, honestly, the first time I ever heard it, made the hair on my arm stand straight up, because we were driving home from Shiloh that night, and I heard the song Shiloh. So tell me about writing that song, dude, because that song, just every time I hear it, just this haunting, badass song, dude.
Well, I mean, you see the name Win Varble throughout my work because he and I were just really, really close friends, and we wrote a ton of stuff together. He and I have written several of my hit songs, big hits, and especially Have You Forgotten.
Mhm.
I was talking to him one day, and we were talking about Shiloh because he knew that I grew up I just literally grew across the river from the battlefield. And he said, man, we ought to get 2 or 3 of us together, because he had been there and visited the park. And he said, we ought to get 2 or 3 of us together and write an incredible song about our experience when you went to the park, when, what you felt and how it affected you. So there was another guy that we wrote with a lot. His name is Don Poitras, very successful songwriter in Nashville. And we got Don and got 3 of us together in the room, and we just started talking, and man, it was magical. I mean, and everybody's experience was a little bit different, but on every one of us, we agreed that it was kind of a spiritual thing. I mean, if you can go there and hang out and get some real good quality time where, no one's wearing you out. If you don't feel, I mean, you can just feel it. And so we had talked about calling the song, Standing in the Presence of the Past, because that was kind of the hook of the song.
Mhm.
And I said, what would be cool is if we called it Shiloh, but we never mentioned the Battle of Shiloh in the song.
Yeah.
We just use events and occurrences that happened in that couple 3 days there, that people who know would go, they're talking about Shiloh.
Right.
So
Right.
what we did. And man, I tell you, I gotta start doing that song in acoustic shows, or I gotta do something with it, because I get more people commenting about that song. And of course, it never was a single or anything like that, but boy, it's full of good wisdom. I know that.
Well, I've seen
Mhm.
you probably a half a dozen times. I've yet to hear that song live. So if you put that in your set, I'm gonna make sure I get my ass to a show quick. So the other one I want to bring up was 2009 Sounds Like Life album. That one is my favorite album that you've ever done. And I just want to ask you a
Oh,
little bit about the
cool.
process about it and picking the songs for the album, because it seems like a more personal album for you that you put out. At least like that's what I got from it. And maybe it was just I'm in my 40s now, so maybe it just hit me at the time of life when it came out. But that album meant a lot to me, and just man, that sound like Slow Dancing with a Memory, dude. That song hit.
That should have been a single.
Yeah.
Man, that was a very, very special project for me. I got to work on it with a guy that is just like one of my closest friends, and we never really dreamed that we'd have an opportunity to make a real record together, where we had a sweet budget and that kind of stuff. Well, I wound up using my band. I approached Jim Moose Brown was my producer, and I approached him about bringing the band in, and I thought it'd be a cool timing. And he said, yeah, we can try that and see how it works. So we wound up doing it, and it was I mean, that's not an easy thing. I learned a lot. We all did. When you don't work in the studio all the time, there's a lot that you just don't realize. Maybe somebody has a tendency to play on top of the beat a little bit more than someone else, and you just kind of have to figure out a way to edit and make all that stuff work. And we spent more money than we really probably should have or would have had to spend, but wrote most of that album. And it was a difficult time, and I probably shouldn't get in too deep into all this. There was the record label had some really strange stuff going on, and I was privy to it all because I just happened to be really, really close friends with the guy that was funding the label. And we couldn't figure out exactly what was going on for a while, because I was the only guy over there that could have a hit song on the radio, and they were trying to get rid of me. And it's typical music industry snake pit BS, man. And we were caught in the middle of it. And so was my friend who wound up dropping about $19 million before that was all said and done, and really didn't have anything to show for it. So, but we were fortunate. We were able to bring, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 hit songs off that record. And I'm like you, I look back on it and it holds up pretty doggone strong. I mean, by that time we were making records with, singles that we knew could fly on radio. When I first started out, I just wanted to record, really good traditional country music, and really good traditional country music was going away fast. So anyway, I've learned a lot down through the years. And one of the things is that you don't do what they want you to do. You do what you do best, and it'll come around to meet you at some point. Oh no, have I lost y'all again? Hello.
Now?
Oh, there you are.
All right, cool. Yeah, we just had to do a quick refresh. Sorry, it happened to us the other night, but we got it fixed now. No, one thing I wanted to ask you about that album, which I love it, was Messed Up in Memphis a real story?
Because
No, that's my favorite song on the album. One of my favorite songs on the album. I just love that song though. I'll jam out to that song.
It is it's pretty autobiographical, I guess, in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a few things in there that might have been embellished a little bit, but it's Memphis at that time for me was I had a lot. I've got a lot of history in Memphis. I was born in Memphis. Yep. And I worked out of Memphis for a company called Buckman Laboratories. And so I had a lot of history there, and I had kind of centered my life back at home for a little while, but I still had some other stuff going on in Memphis, and I would revisit there quite often. And I had one of those I had a weird and wacky evening in Memphis one time, and turned out to be a pretty cool night after it was all said and done. But that's what that song's about. So
I had one of those nights on Beale Street. I got a couple of buddies. We're like, we're not talking about this night ever again. And when I heard that song, I was like, boom, there it is. One thing before we really get to, I want to talk a little bit about where you call home now, the Pickwick area and everything. I want to talk about that here in a minute. But before I do, you and I had a mutual friend that we lost during COVID. And I want to talk about Rick Tiger for a minute and what he meant to you. I still have a picture that sits behind me on my stage of him. He's played this stage behind me many a times at songwriters events. But to you, what did Rick Tiger mean to you, man?
It'd be hard to put all that into a 25 or 30-minute podcast, really. But I'll just say this about him. There's not any finer human beings than Rick Tiger was. I watched him grind away at the whole songwriting thing, and nobody ever worked harder than him. And I've seen him, when they had the fiddle and steel down on the alley and the hot dog stand. I've seen him hand people money that were just, destitute, when he didn't have the money to be handing it to them. And that's just who he was. He was just sort of a angelic, a bit of a saint, at least in my eyes. And I loved him dearly, and I think he was a very, very talented idea guy and songwriter. And man, we only got together 2 or 3 times. I'd give anything if we'd written more songs together. But who saw that coming? I mean, it's very bizarre, and I never in a million years would have dreamed of losing Rick like we did. But just a jewel. He was a jewel. He was talented. He just had crazy skills, as far as the whole understanding the way a good song has to be created, but Rick's spirit and his soul outshined all of that. And so that's my take on Rick Tiger. Yeah, you guys are gone again. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's may have something to do with my phone or.
Are you there now?
There it is.
Cool. No, I knew. So every now and then I could see when it does it. For some reason, it's our server that's been doing that. It did it the other night too. We're gonna have to try to fix this. I do apologize. So if you see me give you the one, we'll be right back in a couple of seconds. So
Okay.
we'll do that from now on, because normally, like, while you're talking is when I know what goes out. So, but
Well,
go ahead.
I'll have to do this to see the one.
Yeah, I'll get really close to my camera. I was like, give me 1 second.
When I'm up this close to something, I just see blurs.
Yeah.
Just if you're done talking, if you don't hear us come back, we'll be back. Yeah, give us like a second or two, and we'll be right back. We see how you do.
So mine's not. You're not losing my.
No, it's our.
Oh yeah, you
something
sounds perfect. It's
with our
us.
streaming service has been giving us trouble.
It's on our end. But what I really want to talk about, and before we really move on to our little segment tonight, being let you go, your cancer treatment center, man. My wife here, Jillian, she works at Cancer Treatment Centers of America every day, and it's near and dear to us.
Very cool. I'm thankful for you. I appreciate what you do, because it's just a war on humanity, and we're fighting it the best way we know how.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but for you, what got you into creating the cancer treatment centers, the Darrell Worley Cancer Treatment Centers? And honestly, I love that these Tennessee River runs that you've been doing, you give back to the foundation and everything else with that. And but yeah, what got you into? What got you started with that?
Well, we have a unusually high cancer occurrence rate here in Hardin County, where I live, and everybody's got their own ideas about what causes that, and none of that really matters, because there's not a ton of industry here. It's a place that most people grow up and take off somewhere else just so they can have a job or whatever. But my family, we're genetically, I guess we're probably pretty high percentage rate possibility of having it, because on both sides we've just been absolutely devastated by that disease. And so as a young man, I watched both my grandfathers, who were very prominent figures in my life, really strong influences in my life. I watched both of them die with cancer, and I've got memories of driving my dad's father, who was one of my favorite people in the world, to Memphis and back for chemo and radiation. And I can still hear him throwing up in a garbage can in the back of the car, because he didn't have, at least in his mind, he didn't have the money to be renting hotel rooms until he felt better. He'd just grit his teeth and say, let's go home when it was over. And I told my dad, I said, people can't keep doing this. I said, I know that it would be hard to get the state to recognize the need for it in such a tiny little place like this. But I said, somebody's got to do something. And so about 2 years into my, forming the foundation, and when we realized we were going to be pretty good at fundraising, and we also realized that we had a lot of support here in the community and in the little town of Savannah. There's some old money around here, and everybody's life here has been affected by cancer. And I said, I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to get in front of these people, and I'm going to get us a certificate of need. And we're going to build a cancer treatment center with every kind of treatment you can have right here in Savannah. And everybody said, you've lost your mind. And I, by the time it was over, I was pretty sure they were right, because it was just as hard as everybody said it would be. And, I had a momentary lapse a couple times where I just thought about hanging it up, because, they just didn't want to see they didn't want to grasp that there could be this kind of need in such a tiny little way off the beaten path town like this. And And I kept telling them, I said, we just live kind of in this vast, it's like no man's land. But I said, people will come from all directions, from North Alabama, North Mississippi, all over West Tennessee. I said, you wait and see. We'll have people from Kentucky coming down here. I said, it is needed. I said, if we just counted the people in our own county that are sitting out there in the woods, that are not going to do, like one of my grandfathers went one time for cancer treatment, and he said, okay, that's it for me. And he lived almost as long as the other grandfather, and he had better quality of life while he was living. So, things have changed a lot since then. We've had many people that came into our treatment center with terrible prognosis that are still alive today, that they said, it was a long shot. So we have just been very, very blessed, and this community needed it. Man, if I hear that once a day, I hear it 50 times a day, what a blessing it has been here, and what a great idea it was. But trust me, I didn't do it by myself. There's a lot of people down here that worked hard, and they also said we'd never pay for it, and it was paid off in probably just a little over 2 years, and it was a big project. So we've been very blessed, and I think it'll be around for a long, long time.
All right.
And they're back.
Yeah. So whenever you're talking, I'll have a quick skip and I know it's there. But hey, man, that is amazing what you're doing. Yeah, go ahead.
That's amazing. I've been an oncology nurse for 15 years and I see it every single day. We have patients who travel all over the world to see us. And anything that you can do to relieve any kind of stress or pressure on them, their caregivers, it doesn't just affect them, it affects their families, financially, emotionally, spiritually, and anything that you can do to help them is amazing. And you're absolutely right. There's not enough resources for patients, and cancer is growing. And I think it's amazing. I think it's a beautiful thing that you guys have done. That's fantastic.
We do too. We still have a hard time believing that it's sitting there. There's a quick funny story. I pulled up in front of the cancer treatment center one day, and they had this big bucket truck there, and a bunch of guys that I have known all my life they were actually putting the lettering, on the front of the building, and it's huge letters. It says Darryl Worley Cancer Treatment Center, and I pulled up beside the bucket truck, rolled my window down, and said, "Hey, could you guys not find any big letters?" You can see it a mile away.
I love that.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations. I think that's awesome.
Well, before we move on to our sponsored section, we were talking about Pickwick area. A couple of my favorite places, man. You used to have the Whirly Bird. We used to go up there for lunch all the time, man. We would love going up to the Savannah to the Whirly Bird and have a good lunch there. Another place that we would eat dinner and place around there, Broken Spoke. Broken Spoke is one of our favorite places for a nice sit-down restaurant, man. So we have some amazing memories there. Pickwick Dam, man. That was our last night in the area before we moved back to the Chicago area. We spent there. Pickwick, First off, I want to ask you, what's the biggest fish you've ever pulled out the dam?
You mean like on a I commercial fished my way through college, so I've had some really big fish, but do you mean on a rod and reel or in a
Pickwick Dam? What's the biggest fish you ever pulled out of the dam area?
Well, I caught a 78-pound yellow cat one time, but I have been in the boat with my cousin who's also a commercial fisherman, and we had I want to say it was either 119 pound or 129 pound spoonbill that we pulled up in a net one night, big mama fish, and we were egg fishing, and so I was in the boat with him when he caught a 85 pound white cat. I've seen we were out on the river one night when some guys caught 105 pound catfish. I'm not 100% can't remember for sure what it was, but man, I have seen some monsters come out of that river, and but one of the wildest things ever was a 105-pound snapping turtle that we pulled up in a net one night.
Oh my God.
It,
Wow.
we had a huge commercial rig. The bottom of the boat was, just as wide as this kitchen, and it was 35 feet long.
Man.
We pulled this net over in the boat. We thought it had a stump in it. It happens all the time. And I'll never forget, my cousin went to the front of the boat and I was by the motor, and I just happened to hit the bottom of the boat with the spotlight, and I said, dude, that stump's moving. And he spun around, and we realized it was just a massive snapping turtle. So I mean, as much as I love to see those big catfish, you kind of see that all the time.
Yeah.
And that turtle was very rare to find. At that time I didn't know it, but there's guys that strictly fish the river for those turtles. And I mean, man, there's so much going on out there on that water people don't know about it. It's just amazing.
That is crazy.
That's cool.
Well, we're gonna move on to our Powered by Poddex, our sponsor section tonight, and we pulled a couple cards earlier. Are there any shows you've played that stand out as the most memorable to you in your career that you remember? Maybe like a USO show or something that you've done. It's just you'll never forget this one show.
Yeah, there's a show that we did in Bagram, Afghanistan, at the Bagram Air Base there. It was the first big like out in the war zone USO type show that I was ever a part of. And the Joint Chiefs of Staff was there. Robin Williams was on stage just before us, and I mean, there's just Roger Clements was over there visiting. It was just crazy, the stuff that was going on, and I mean, the war was raging all around. So it was very, very surreal. But a couple of the Tennessee River Run events stand out like that too. And we played a show once in Vail, Colorado, in one of the most beautiful settings that I've never, and somehow or another, I can never get that particular show out of my head either.
I love that.
I think part of it was John Denver had passed away the day before, and we decided we were going to do Hey, It's Good to Be Back Home Again in the show. And when we did, this huge bald eagle came out of nowhere and just started circling over the top of our stage. And I had a record rep from Chicago. It was on the ground out there, and I kept looking down at him, and he's pointing up in the air. And finally I look up and see right in the middle of that song. And I said, boy, that's a coincidence. So there's been a handful of moments that it catches you off guard just a little bit. But yeah, I will never forget those particular shows.
Week, I promise you. Can you hear us now? Can you hear me or no? No.
I can hear you on the live.
Can you hear me now, Darrell? Did we lose you? Nothing. I don't know what's going on.
Last time we did it, we just had to reset it.
Does this work now? Can you hear us now?
No.
All right, we're gonna have to wait and see if Darrell comes back in. Let's hope he comes back in, guys. Totally.
That was a good stretch.
Yeah.
We went a good amount of
We
time.
do apologize. So if you guys are watching, we have issues with, for some reason, Chrome is not talking to our third party that we use, and it keeps muting our audio. And I do not know why it's doing that. It started doing that the other night, and we were hoping it was cleared up for tonight. Apparently, it was not cleared up for tonight. So let's see. We hope we got Darrell back. Can you hear us, Darrell? Can
Julian.
you hear us?
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. There you are. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know what's happening with our server tonight. We do apologize.
No, I was going to tell you a funny story about something like that. When I was in Savannah, I was going to connect to the internet down there and do the podcast down there. And all of Savannah's internet is out.
We heard you went to McDonald's or you're trying to find somewhere. We're like,
somebody in the comments is from the area, and she said Spectrum's out all over.
Yeah. I saw
There's no internet down there.
That's exactly right. So we have a very, very unique thing out here. We've got this AT&T fixed wireless, and I mean we're if you saw where I'm at, it's like in the middle of nowhere. But we get it straight from the tower, and it's just been unbelievable. We were up here for 15 years with nothing. I mean, HughesNet would they were like, okay, we give up.
Yeah, this is something with our we use like a third party to do these shows, and it's just not talking to our server for some reason. It keeps muting the show, and it did. We had a guest the other night. It did the same thing. We were hoping it was cleared up, but I don't know. So our next segment we're gonna do, Darrell. This is one of my favorites. We call it Memories and Melodies. I play like 4 or 5 seconds of a song. The first memory you have with this song, we talk about for a quick second. So go ahead and play the first one.
Don't close your eyes.
Don't close your eyes, man. When you hear that song, where does it take you?
Man, 2 places. Okay, I'll make it quick, but it takes me back to where I was the moment I found out that he'd passed, and it also takes me back just a few weeks to the last Keith Whitley tribute show in Nashville. They asked me to close the show, and I sung that song. So that was one of the songs. And Lori and Jesse, his Keith's son, they got up and did sung background vocals, harmony with me on "Don't Close Your Eyes." I was a huge Keith Whitley fan, so whoo boy, that came out of nowhere. Oh, I've lost you guys again. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we got
you can that time.
All right, buddy. Here we'll go to do the next one real quick. George Jones, Fill Their Shoes, man. Where does that take you?
I'm not surprised that there was no way I could have got around that. So I was in Nashville living in Mount Juliet, and my wife, we finally found this church. It's called Green Hill Church. It's a Baptist church, and it's kind of between Mount Juliet and Hermitage, but on 70 there.
Mm-hmm.
And we just loved it, and we still love it. We have tons of our really close friends go there. But the preacher called me up one time and said, "Hey, will you sing a couple songs at church?" I said, "Oh yeah, I'll be happy." And of course, I thought, I'm gonna get to go way back to my roots and do. And he wanted me to sing that song. It went along with his
sermon.
And I thought, oh my gosh, yeah. But so I boned up on that song and did it in both services. And I bet you I had 150 people say, "Man, where else in the world can you go to church on Sunday morning and get a good sermon and some good country music?"
I love that, man. All right, go ahead and hit that green one.
But Joe.
Oh, all right. Merle Haggard. Are the good times really over? When you hear that song, where's it going to take you, man? I know you're going to like this one.
God, I don't know if you know it or not, but I like that. I guess of all the singers, songwriters in the business, that he's probably my favorite. And it takes me back to my early beginnings as a songwriter and listening to so much of his music that I thought, if I could write songs that, like, out of my own life's experiences, which I think are the best songs, and maybe some young man like myself would hear those songs one day and not have to make some of the same mistakes that I've made. That's kind of how Haggard's music spoke to me. And that particular song, I've been in that place a lot more times than I should have been.
Oh, I love that song, but it's so true, man. It's such a true song.
Yes.
All right, and then the final one, we're gonna love this one.
When I was walking in Memphis, was walking with my feet 10
Walking
feet
in
off
Memphis,
the
man.
wheel.
Where's that taking you?
Well, that's messed up in Memphis for me, man. You know, I still remember the earlier parts of that evening.
I love that one. All right. Well, before we let you go, we do a thing called the hot seat. It's kind of like what we just did. It's 10 quick questions. The first thing that comes to your mind, just spit it out. Don't worry about the music time. It might be hard to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be all right. The first vinyl record you've ever purchased.
I bought Bobby Goldsberg for my mom.
Nice. If you had an endless supply of something, what would it be?
Diesel.
Yes. Who has the best pizza you've ever had?
Pizza Hut in Savannah, Tennessee.
Oh yeah. All right. The strangest thing you've ever seen in the middle of the road.
An armadillo.
Dude, I hit one outside. Where were we?
We were in Tishomingo.
Tishomingo County, man. I hit an armadillo. I thought I hit a 6-pound bowling ball, man. I didn't know what the hell.
When I saw it, I'd never seen one in my whole life before.
Yeah.
Same, man.
Finally made it to Hardin County.
Yeah.
What's the worst day job you've ever had?
Say it again. I lost your front end of that.
The worst day job you ever had?
Man, I hope there's probably no chance that he's watching this. But and when I was finishing up college, I was actually working on a little bit of graduate work, and I signed on to do this job in the lab, this organic chemistry lab, and apparently me and my PhD guy that was my professor as well, we had a different idea about what the job was, and you know, I never really could say that he fired me, but I think that might be the only time I got fired. Because but I couldn't stay awake. I couldn't do what he was asking me to do and stay awake, because I was supposed to get to work on one of my projects, and I wound up doing all of his stuff. And it was I just literally sat in front of this high pressure liquid chromatography machine and just shot samples into it one after another. And I told him, I said, I should have gone and worked at the liquor store, because
I love that.
Been more interesting.
Exactly.
What's one thing people buy that you think is a waste of money?
My wife would kill me. You know, I got to say, just came to my brain, flowers.
You can just grow them though, right? I mean, why buy them when you could grow them?
Grow them outside of your house. You'll get to see them their whole lives.
Yes.
What's one song you wish you wrote, Darrell Worley?
Oh, I wish I had written "I'm No Stranger to the Rain."
Oh, that's a
It's a
good
good
one.
song.
What's something you do? What's something on your to-do list that never gets done? That you just keep putting off? What is it?
Washing my truck.
Yes.
Oh, you went away. It got silent all of a sudden.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, y'all.
All right, cool. It's like we have 2 questions left and we're done.
Not
What's your
that we want to be done
yeah,
with you,
no,
though.
not at all. This has been
This is
great, man. I've had a
amazing.
blast tonight. What's your favorite microwavable food?
Oh, I guess pizza.
Hell yeah. All right. And then my last question I have for you. You've done a lot of cool things, man. You've played the Opry. You've played a lot of places, done a lot of cool things. What's still on Darrell Worley's bucket list for music? Before you say you're done, what do you still want to accomplish, or what do you still want to be able to do in the music industry?
It's pretty simple, man. And I mean, and then, you know, this may not ever happen, but I'm one of those people that I believe if you speak it and you speak positive words over your life, that you have a lot better chance of making things happen. And so I've had a prayer for a long, long time. My daughter, by the time she came along, you know, things were sort of starting to taper off for me. And I think that we may be kind of aligning ourselves right now to get a song or two back on mainstream country radio. So my prayer is that not for me at all. I could really care less if you want to know the truth, but I would love for my daughter, because she asked me a million questions and she's never really seen it. I'd love for my daughter to see what her daddy, did at one time. I'd like to make another great video, have a hit song on the radio, get to tour and let her tag along and stand out on the stage, and all that stuff. I think would just be, she did some, but it was when she was so young, she had a hard time remembering it. So, I just think that would be a really special thing.
Well, that's dude, anything you put out, anything you do from here on out, we are in your corner, man. We are going to be there sharing the hell out of it, promoting the hell out of it, and doing whatever we can for you, because we've been big supporters and big fans of yours for a while, man. And dude, you just blow us away. Thank you for so much for spending an hour of your time with us tonight, dude. And sorry about all the quirky muting.
I'm sorry I was late. I swear I had a great plan. And
man, I was excited. I was going to interview Darrell Worley at McDonald's.
I was gonna sit there in the parking lot, man. They eat some fries.
Get the big old M behind you. Well, Darrell, you have an amazing night, man. We appreciate everything you did tonight and spent with us. And we'll see you on the road down the road soon, man. Like I said, we're gonna be in your corner sharing everything. We'll be right there in the front row rocking out too.
Thank you.
But I'll be hollering out Shiloh all night long. Have a great night, Darrell.
All right, man. Y'all too.
Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.
Probably the best one yet.
It was so
best one yet.
Amazing. I'm like on cloud 9 right now.
That was so much fun, dude. Like, he was so much fun.
Oh, he was fantastic.
I don't know. I loved the Corey Smith interview was fun, but this one just blew that one out. This was so much fun.
I think because it's like meaningful to us.
Yeah.
He's so meaningful to us.
So if you guys don't know the backstory, you guys are listening. In 2006, was it 2006 we moved?
No, 5.
2005. Jillian and I moved to Corinth, Mississippi. We spent about 5 years down there. And Corinth, Mississippi is right on the Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi line, pretty much right in the 3 corners. And we would travel a lot to this restaurant called Broken Spoke in Pickwick, Tennessee. Right outside Pickwick, Tennessee is a street that says Darrell Worley Way. And right up the street was Savannah, Tennessee, the Whirly Bird. And we would go to these river runs all the time. And Darrell Worley just became a staple in our relationship back then. So tonight was kind of bringing it all together. It was really cool because we've been following this guy since 2005. Giddy. Oh, me?
I was.
Oh, I know. You were nervous to do a sound check earlier.
I'm going to talk to Darrell Worley. What?
Well, I was like a month ago, we were supposed to interview him and things happened. We didn't get a chance to interview him in person, but man.
He did. This was fantastic. So much fun.
So much better. I love this. So we're going to try to work out. So we have another show tomorrow night, guys. We're going to see what we can do, see if we can work out any of the little things. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to figure it out. But if not, come back tomorrow night. Thank you again for joining us tonight on episode 138 with Darrell Worley. The passion, the drive he has for his music proves Darrell has a lot of career still left ahead of him. We want to wish Darrell nothing but the best and can't wait to see what he accomplishes and what he does the rest of this year into next year. If he gets a song on mainstream radio again, we're going to push the hell out of it. So I am just so thank you, Christina. Yeah, it was a very lucky. We couldn't believe it. We feel
super blessed.
Very humble to be able to have that interview just now. But we are going to be in Darrell's corner no matter what and keep pushing for him because I would love that for him for nothing more. For his daughter to be able to see that and do that, and just for the kind of person Darrell is. I mean, if you guys want to look into the Darrell Worley Cancer Treatment Center, it's just some amazing things that he's a part of and that he continues to do. I know he's a huge St. Jude supporter as well. So same thing as us. So we are very excited that we were able to get that done or get that interview. And man, I cannot wait. I want to hear about it. I want to go listen back to it already. All right, y'all. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. We cannot wait.
The Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver is brought to you by Arlo Revolution. As we close the book on another chapter, remember, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Next week, Aaron connects more melodies and memories with other fans and the artists they love. Thanks for being a part of this musical journey, and we'll see you next time on the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver.